Are you spinning your head trying to figure out what you should be doing for marketing today? Or are you unsure why your hearing clinic isn't marketing isn't working? The right marketing strategy can do wonders for your clinic, and it's so important to have a good foundational understanding of what is working right now to continue to bring new clients through your doors. So, I want to share with you 7 strategies which will help you build more clients to your clinic. And by the end of the video, you will have a step by step plan to start implementing today. So, marketing has really changed over the last year. And what was working before isn't exactly working right now. So, with increased competition with large corporate chains, emerging over the counter hearing aids are demanding our attention, and consumers are really tightening their wallet during these economic times. And so we can't just rely on doctors or medical professionals to refer clients or patients because we are seeing a lot of doctors not referring patients less than this time, especially if you're in Canada. Many people don't have family doctors to begin with. So we're also experiencing changes with the social media platform and the online space can really change over the years. So we can't just continue to work on what we've done in the past. AI will always continue to dominate now and create social, economic, and geopolitical changes affecting your businesses. And as an independent small business, we need to ensure that you are adapting to the changes and thriving in 2025. So here are the 7 winning strategies that I see that are good for 2025. So strategy number 1 is hyperlocal SEO and Google Business Profile. So as ChatGPT continues to dominate and take market share from the online search, Google is really trying to find its relevance again. So one competitive advantage of Google over the other search engine is local search optimization and business profile because Google has the GPS integrations. The people who are searching for hearing clinics in nearby neighborhood will be able to get precise and relevant search results that ChatGPT, Instagram, or Facebook can't even match. So local SEO is really the way to go. So here are 3 things that you need to do to capitalize on this hyper local SEO strategy. First of all, if you haven't done so, update your Google business profile. The second thing you want to do is really increase your testimonial. I really think that it should be a regular occurrence, getting a testimonial every once a month or even every 2 months, and really optimize for keywords in your SEO search. So like for example, hearing test in whatever your city name is. You might even want to go even more niche and specify for your local neighborhood because even though the keyword search may not be voluminous in the sense that there won't be a lot of people searching for those terms, at least there might be people searching for specific neighborhoods in your city, and you want to capitalize on that because you'll be on the top of the search result. So, strategy number 2 is educational video content. So I've heard from audiologists that many people are coming into the clinic that are researching online before entering the clinic. And because people really want to be more knowledgeable and help them make informed decisions. And as audiologists, I think it's really important that you control the narrative and information online to start sharing your expertise. Um, and that way you can really maximize your potential clients and knowledge as well. So here's what I would do. I would start posting on YouTube, maybe 2 educational videos per month. You can start talking about your frequently asked questions. So think about all the questions that people often ask of you and start covering topics that are trending, like hearing in the hearing care space. One thing that I've noticed is tinnitus. Everybody seems to be talking about tinnitus. So you might want to do some content on that. You also might want to look at doing videos on patients or your clients' testimonials. The thing about doing videos, you don't need fancy production. In fact, there's so many videos on YouTube where people are doing it videos in their car. So it really doesn't matter where you're taping or if you even have a fancy camera. Any basic phone camera will do. The strategy number three is PR. You want your company and your brand mentioned as often on the web as possible. And regardless of the search platform, be it Google or ChatGPT or any other AI tool, the more mentions you have, the more you're perceived as an authority. And this is where you need to start to strategically aim to get other people talking about your clinic. So, how could you do this? So, for example, you can get media coverage, whether it's in the industry related news or any kind of event that's happening in the hearing care space. Be the person that the media can contact to speak on this topic. To start reaching the media first, maybe with press release on specific topics that you think are trending, and then start to get build that relationship with some journalists that you can reach out to you later should there be some interesting topic that they want your opinion on. Second thing you should look at is think about the times when you have your space not being used, and those are typically after hours. Well, what if you can utilize your office space to help promote your business? So, for example, there's a lot of communities that have local events that are happening. And some of these local event communities need a place to stay and host their event. And they're going to obviously mention the location in their invitation. And if you have a facility or clinic that enables you to share your place and your space publicly, I would certainly look into that as an option to have people come into your event to your location, and then you can actually have your clinic mentioned as the location destination, and that's another way of building a lot of mentioning out in social media and throughout the community. The strategy number four is an AI powered chatbot. So now I don't want you to think that you need to go and hire an AI engineer. When I started my AI startup 7 years ago, designing assistive tech for people with hearing loss, that would have been the truth. But today, you can pretty much get off the shelf chatbot that can be many digitized versions of you and your knowledge. So you want to get ahead of the curve because this is what I think. In the future, most websites will have some form of chatbot where people can engage and with the chatbot with questions that they have. But you can use a chatbot to strategically capture email leads. For example, think about some of the frequently asked questions. Somebody wants to get a quick answer about whether you accept their specific type of insurance. The AI bot can quickly answer that question without a person needing have to read on your website. And you may be even able to capture the person email and get them to book an appointment right after engaging with your chatbot. So we can start to think about using chatbot for anything, maybe like somebody who have a common hearing aid issue. One of them is like wax buildup or how to clean your hearing aid. Actually, will be beneficial if people are able to do the cleaning on themselves, and that would help you save some time. So I would use tools like ChatGPT. And if you want me to help get you started on this, like mention in the comment, and I can do a video on this later. So the strategy number five, I'd say, is community partnership. Now, this is where you have a major advantage compared to all these big brand businesses, because large corporations will need headquarters approval for any kind of activity that goes against the norm. And there's so many community activities that are happening from maybe with something that are happening at the local high school. It could be a community college or the community centers that are having events and they're looking for sponsors. But you want to be more than just a sponsor. You want to be there regularly in creating experiences. So here are a few ways that you can do it. Be involved in your community. So you can let's say you can partner with a local senior center to offer discount services to the member while you help promote their public event for more reach. The other way that you can do it is participate in local fairs. So you can set up a booth, but don't attend with just flyers and business information. Attend to bring fun, engaging activities on the theme of hearing care. So it could be a lip reading competition or how loud is it challenge. You may want to have a contest to draw for a sound bar for the TV or any device to hear clearly that anyone can use. So think creatively about the subject of hearing and build memorable activities at your booth and change it up every year for the regulars and newbies to be engaged. And strategy number 6 is re-engaging existing customers. I'm really surprised that very few hearing clinics really re-engage people who purchased hearing aids maybe 3 or 5 years ago. And one thing is guaranteed: people will always need hearing aids, especially as long as they're alive. But yes, they might need a cochlear implant later, but you know that you're always going to have a pipeline of existing customers who are ready to purchase. So this is your time to re-engage with them. You should be looking at having a system in place when you know that the hearing aid is passing a specific warranty, or maybe it's 3 to 5 years when the time for someone needs to buy a new hearing aid. But be personable when you come to engaging. So maybe you want to relate your content in an email communication that is related to the latest features or new models that the individual may benefit for their next purchase, and have them come to you to discuss which is the best fit for their next purchase. So, strategy number 7 is reputation management. And I already mentioned this in other strategies, but I think it's really important to manage your reputation. And what I mean here is that you need to get more reviews. A recommendation is a stronger way to help people quickly decide on one business over another. So, one way to do this is to build a system to continuously getting reviews. The chances for word of mouth in this day and age is it's really pretty slim. Um, and I find it's a very passive approach to getting good results. Yes, I'm sure you want your work to speak for yourself, but how often are people going to recommend product and services? And how often do you recommend product and services to your friends and family? And it's really about precise timing. People having being the right time when somebody is openly asking for support. So don't really rely too much on referrals um, or letting your business speak for themselves. So aim to collect reviews that you can share on your website, either on the Google business profile or even on social media. And speaking of social media, design maybe a podcast video style interview where you bring one of your patients or clients to speak about their experience working with you with a real account, unedited videos. And this will be great because you'll have a real person who give talking about their experiences working with you and the transformation that they achieve. So that is the 7 strategies. And here's the step-by-step plan that I would do starting today. Um, so first of all, you want to look at breaking it down into 4 weeks, okay? And in the first week, I would start with some really good quick wins. So start updating your website and your Google business profile. In week 2, I would start to film one of your educational videos with just yourself, and maybe in the following week, you can bring your best client and to discuss or review their experience. And in week 3, I would develop a system to continuously be getting referrals. And then on week 4, I would just brain dump all the FAQs that you can think of and the answer to them to get started on your custom chat GPT. To start thinking about all the questions that you often hear from your client and really pour out all your answers on a piece of paper. So at all times, you want to be looking at community events, pitching your story ideas to share in the media. So you don't need a big budget, you just need consistency. So start with one strategy this week. Watch my next video if you want to learn more marketing tips to bring more clients to your clinic.